TCM shop.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Tomorrow, September 29th, Turner Classic Movies will be adding another great book to our library. It is written by film historian Leonard Maltin, a member of the TCM family. The book, made up of films from the silent era through 1965, is the latest edition of Leonard's classic movie guide, and Leonard is here to help me introduce 4 new additions to the book. Leonard, good to see you.
Good to see you, Ben. And there'll be 4 more after you and I go to sleep.
8 movies in all.
That's right.
Up next, a little-known B picture featuring bad guys, bumbling cops, a pretty girl, a cute dog, and maybe the greatest grandmother of all time. From 1934, it's Among the Missing. Now, technically, she's not a grandmother, but she's a grandmotherly type.
Yes, she is that. She is that. Her name is Henrietta Crossman. She's a very good actress. She'd been a stage star. She'd made a few movies, but John Ford picked her in 1933 to star in a very moving drama called Pilgrimage. And this resurrected her screen career. So this was 1 year later, 1934, that Columbia hired her to star in this little film. This is not a masterpiece, it's not a big rediscovery, but it's a good little movie.
It's a really nice story.
And part of it is her sincere performance.
She makes this movie, no question.
And this was a time when there were other grandmotherly and motherly types on the box office charts. Marie Dressler was one of the top box office stars in America at this time. May Robeson was featured just the year before in Frank Capra's wonderful film Lady for a Day, and that made her a star. Alison Skipworth, another great character actor, starred with W.C. Fields at this time. Maybe it was something about the Depression. The people wanted to turn to people like this, motherly, grandmotherly figures, as kind of a security blanket, something to give them an anchor.
Because the Depression is definitely part of the story. They don't
sure.
spend a lot of time talking about it, but clearly you're left to there's a crime story, and there's 3 guys involved in a string of robberies, and you just get the distinct impression that if the economy were good, these guys would have jobs and they wouldn't be engaging, and they wouldn't be stealing anything.
Exactly. It's not a wildly surprising or unpredictable story, but it's very well done. It has a great look to it, thanks to the cinematographer Joseph August, who had started in the silent film era and who worked a lot with John Ford. And the way they stage everything is so interesting. They really shot at night. It sounds like an obvious thing, but in those days they shot what they call day for night.
Yeah, that's right.
Most often. They're really out there at night in the park with that searchlight, that police searchlight, looking for the guys. They staged some flamboyant scenes with heavy shadows, silhouettes. It's an interesting looking movie for a little B movie, a little programmer. That's all of 62 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a pre-noir noir in some parts of it, except the cops here are they're fairly bumbling. And there's one scene where the police are chasing the robbers, and they're just shooting. Like, they're just shooting. Nobody says freeze police. You don't know whether these are the guys, but like, oh, a guy jumped a fence. Well, I'm going to take 4 shots at him. I kept looking at the team saying, stop shooting. Just run after him. You don't know who you're shooting.
You really got involved.
I would have.
The film pulled you in.
Totally. Every one of these movies you picked is really good. Why did you add this one this time around?
Well, again, the 300 titles that we added to the classic guide are all films people can now see. This film was unseen for years. It wasn't lost. It wasn't missing. It was in inventory at Columbia Pictures, but just nobody happened to take it off the shelf. Now it's available on DVD, and it's available tonight for the first time here on TCM. So the fact that people have access to seeing the movie meant I wanted to include it in the classic guide.
All right, Leonard, thanks very much. Good stuff. Here it is, starring Richard Cromwell and Henrietta Crossman. Cinematography by the great Joseph August, as Leonard mentioned, from 1934, Among the Missing.